New committee members and other parties of interest. The evaluation committee meeting for request for proposal RFP-25-00282 affordable housing planning consulting services for 5-year consolidated plan for the Affordable Housing Department will be held by means of communications media technology. Active participation will be for committee members only. Provisions have been made for members of the public desiring to have access to view the meeting. Public attendees must remain on mute and keep your cameras off. For the record, this meeting is being recorded and the recording will be available after the meeting has ended. Please be advised that the cone of silence is still in effect and shall end the earlier of 5 business days after the county posts its notice of intent to award the contract associated with the solicitation, or on the date the procurement solicitation is canceled by the county. All questions, comments, and concerns must be directed to my attention and my attention only. My name is Dawn Danina, and I am the chief buyer for this project. Again, for the record, this meeting is being recorded and has been publicly noted. At this time, I will ask each committee member to introduce themselves for the record, beginning with the committee chairperson, Willette Hollinger.
Good afternoon, Willette Hollinger, Planning and Resource Manager, Affordable Housing Services.
Alicia Crosby Rucker, Director for Hillsborough County Homeless and Community Services.
Jonathan Rushnick, Senior Business Analyst for Enterprise Solutions and Quality Assurance.
Shirley McCreary, Affordable Housing Services Project Manager.
Carmen Noble, Americans with Disabilities Act Officer. Rebecca Hessinger, an Executive Planner with Community and Infrastructure Planning.
Jay Collins, Planning Commission staff.
Thank you. For the record, we received 6 proposals. The committee will now evaluate, discuss, and score by consensus the 6 proposals received. Each proposal will be evaluated based on the information provided in the proposal as it correlates to the requirements and evaluation criteria set forth in the solicitation. The proposals will be scored based on the following criteria. Criteria 1, technical approach, 30 points. Criteria 2, organization and staff qualifications, experience, 25 points. Criteria 3, past performance, 25 points. Criteria 4, proposed fee cost proposal, 20 points. This is calculated by procurement services and will be announced after the committee consensus scores are reported. Criteria 5, DMDWBE bonus points, 5 points. Scores will be announced after the committee consensus scores for criteria 1 through 3 are reported. The evaluation committee chairperson, Willette, will lead the discussion for evaluation and scoring. After each category is discussed, please state the final consensus scoring agreed upon so that I may report it in the scoring spreadsheet. After the conclusion of the scoring, I will verify the scores with the committee and provide the final scoring. With that, Willette, I will turn it over to you.
Thank you, Don. Thank you, committee members, for agreeing to review our proposals for us. We appreciate your time and effort. We typically start these in alphabetical order, so we'll start with the letter A, Delway. The first one.
Somebody read
Okay. And so we'll start on my right, your left. With Carmen on the technical approach, how was your score?
I scored 0.
Rebecca,
5.
Jay,
6.
Felicia,
I'm at the 0 to 5.
Jonathan.
I did fine.
The technical approach includes a work plan with a breakdown of the project by phases or tasks, which identifies staff roles and responsibilities. We want to go through each one individually, or do we want to discuss a range of score from 0 to 5? Because I think,
What numbers do we have?
so it's up to 30. So we have 0 to 5 for most of you, and somebody has 6, which is the next one.
So I can just chime in and say, for me, for the technical approach, I was looking at anywhere from 0 to 3. I feel like I'm not sure if it's even met the minimum. So that's why I was leaning more towards the 0. I feel like that the technical approach just basically recapped what the deliverables are what the objectives are and, the outcome. And so it really didn't. You didn't need, to me, I felt like it did not need a B or a C. I didn't include the sector, just A, B, C. I felt like it did not meet that criteria. Just restated what the RFP was asking.
Okay, so for a consensus score, is a consensus, do you want to have more discussion? Because I just want to chime in.
I agree with everything she said.
But I took some notes as well, and I had that there was no specific breakdown of the phases. No mention of any staff or roles. Is it just one person doing this? No mention of hours or time needed, and then no value added. That I could, discern unless it's buried in there, but it sounds like no one else did either.
So are we at a consensus of 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Where are we at?
But for me, I'm at 0.
So,
I'm at 0.
okay.
Yeah, with 0 is fine. That's fine.
Are we at a consensus of 0 for number 1, Dawn? And so under organization and staff qualification and experience where they could receive a score up to 25 points, how did you score, Carmen?
From 0 to 3. 2.
2. Jane?
6.
2. John?
I actually had a 5.
Does anybody want to share why they scored the way they scored?
I just put none. There's no names. There's no resumes. No location, I just couldn't find any of the information really that was filled out. Score sheet.
Yeah, the same thing. The proposal was lacking in detail if we would actually be working on the material.
I mean, it's pretty much on the same. I just, I couldn't find the office or, where the work would be held out of. I thought that there was a org chart, but other than that, we said I didn't find who would be doing any other work in particular.
So we have 0 to 6. Do we want to go 0 to 5, 6 to 10?
I recommend we stay within 0 to 5.
Okay, so where do we want to land?
3.
0 to 5.
3 is, I think, a good.
3 is a good consensus for everyone?
Yeah.
Okay, so 3 for number 2. Dawn. And for past performance, score up to 25 points. Carmen, how did you score?
Again, unfortunately, I feel like this application was probably rushed, very incomplete. It referenced some website that didn't work. And information was redundant. So 0 to 5. 1.
6.
Felicia?
0.
Okay. Jonathan?
I give it a 5.
Okay. So do we want to stay in the 0 to 5? You gave me 6. Or do we?
0 to 5, if we put, if you have returns,
You just go back to 3 again.
Split it down the middle.
Okay, so the consensus for number 3 is 3.
We'll do that after all of them are done.
All of them done. Okay, so do you want to recap?
Sure. So for that one, I have criteria 1, consensus score of 0. Criteria 2, a consensus score of 3, and criteria 3, a consensus score of 3.
Moving on to the next proposal. Looking at Baker Tilly. Start with the technical approach. We'll start with you, Rebecca.
I gave him 28.
28.
25.
Alicia,
I'm open to the 23, wait, 23 to 30.
I give it a 25.
Carmen,
I gave them a 20. And that's because, I believe that we need to accommodate a space for them here. Everything seems to be electronic. A project like this needs, stakeholders interaction, I think, so. That was not evident in what was submitted. I know there was a clarification as to, when these public meetings will take place. I think they explained that it will be in one visit. I just don't think it's sufficient.
we are between,
I'm good with 25.
16 and 30, so
Okay.
it's 25 the consent. Are we agreeing with
Yeah.
that? 25 for number one. Dawn. Organizational staff qualification and experience, Rebecca.
25.
Jay,
22.
Lisa, Felicia, Jonathan.
I give it 22.
I gave a 20, and that's because it seemed like um, it's very top heavy when it comes to directors. So it wasn't real clear to me who was going to be the point of contact. 20.
16. 30.
Right, I'm just again.
25, 22, 25, 22, and 20.
And Carmen, where are you?
She was at it.
A 20.
Okay, so they had the org chart. The project personnel. Is it the key project personnel you were concerned about?
Yeah, because although they have offices in Tampa, from what I read, my understanding was that the people that will be in leadership of this project are elsewhere, some in Wisconsin, Texas, Illinois, and so I just, if they have Tampa offices, I was surprised that it wasn't included in the team.
That was, my note that I have on here is not sure which Florida office will be assigned primary responsibility. All one, and I couldn't quite discern
Yeah.
where it was gonna take place.
Didn't they mention in their proposal that they have over 1,000 employees in the state of Florida? Was something I thought I saw? But yet they didn't, I mean, obviously.
They have with a dedicated team of over 175 professionals.
Okay.
Yeah. It was 27.
Friends.
2,700.
So what I
2,700 clients, that's what I saw.
So what I gather is they do a lot, Baker Tilly does a lot of stuff, and the staff with the expertise are across, for this particular type of project, or across, maybe they're not here in Tampa, or it could be, maybe they have other work going on, and they can't take it on, so it looks like to me, a person who is out of
Wisconsin,
the
the principal,
principal, yeah,
yeah,
would be the lead, yeah, correct, out of Wisconsin. So most of the work looks like it'll come out of Wisconsin, Texas, Indianapolis, and Chicago. And then when they showed the committed team, the additional people, it didn't show anybody in Florida. I paused, but then I thought, well, maybe they just don't have anybody in Florida that can do this particular work, or they don't have the capacity in Florida to take on this. I didn't. I mean, wasn't a biggie since they had the experience, but I mean, I'm willing to talk a little bit more about it.
Well, our scores range from 20 to 25. So is that splitting the middle? Do you need whole numbers?
Yes.
So 22 or 23?
22.7.
Yeah, tell them out there, make sure. 22?
It's fine.
22, so are we consider?
Yeah,
Consensus with 22. 22.
Yeah, because you're doing 20 and I think.
Yeah.
That's 25 and 25.
Yeah.
Past performance scores up to 25 points.
I gave them 23, and the only reason is I couldn't find that they had a lot of experience with the government, with the population of our county. It's more smaller.
Yeah, so this is the same thing. I gave them an 18 in that same vein because of, maybe I'm supposed to wait for that.
Yeah, I'm supposed to share. I'll share too.
Felicia.
I'm between the, what's that one? The 23. No, I'm sorry, not 30. 20. Like the wrong one, yeah, 25.
Jonathan.
23.
I gave it 22.
23.
23.
Mhm.
I gave them a 25. But we seem to be the 20s, lower 20s, but.
So the reason why that I did is, where Rebecca went, is they did not provide experience for a county, they provided experience for cities. They also did not provide Florida experience, even though they mentioned they have offices in Florida, which goes back to the conversation we were having with the other criteria, which is the other criteria.
I was in the same boat too, because I mentioned that it's just smaller municipalities noted. I didn't even go the Florida route. I just noticed that the cities weren't over a million. It's
Like, how big are all these cities? I'm like,
Yeah, well, I started to Google because, that was a concern. I was like, well, maybe if I started looking up the population of some of the cities to see.
That's between 18 and 25.
We're right around the 20.
20, 22.
20 or 22. Should, what's the consensus? 20 or 22?
I still like my 22 answer.
22 is fine.
Yeah,
Yes,
I mean, the only thing I could ding that.
I'm grading on a little bit lower than others, so it'll all come out in the wash in that sense.
Okay, so 22 is the consensus for number 3. Do you want to do a recap?
So for Baker Tilly Advisory Group LP, I have criteria 1, a consensus score of 25. Criteria 2, a consensus score of 22. And criteria 3, a consensus score of 22.
So I have a CEW advisors. For the technical approach, we will start with Jay.
22.
Felicia. 23. Jonathan.
25.
Martin.
I gave them a 30.
I like that they would attend all community meetings and focus group meetings, because that is real important in a project like this.
22, 30.
I like the work plan. I like the work plan. Did the project schedule. They had the hours in here.
Yeah, I agree. They checked for, part 1, they checked all of the boxes and then described what should be in those boxes.
To 30.
What's the highest?
30.
Oh, 30, yeah.
I was the only 22, I believe, so it would go a little bit higher, maybe about 26.
Went higher even more than 25. I mean, I was just looking for value added. A lot of them were just, I didn't see a lot of value added. But.
I have a 23 through 30, I have 28, sorry, so I'm just about 28, and I have a 23 through 30 range. My question mark is at the value added.
Correct.
So, actually, my 23 is actually 28, the range is 23 through 30.
Does that sound like 26 then?
Wow.
I go.
So it's a consensus 26, are you six on?
Yeah.
26 done. Okay, and the organizational and staff qualification and experience, Jay.
22.
Yeah. Yeah, right now I have 16 to 20.
Jonathan.
I gave it 25.
And Carmen.
Yeah, I gave them a 25 as well.
22.
22.
Keep coming back.
We got,
Yeah.
22 and 25.
Can I tell you why I didn't go to that? The comparable projects in B. And, and then I think that we do the background and experience.
The larger governments came up again, but then I saw they had Connecticut Department of Housing. That's a pretty big organization, but I guess they're dealing with all of the population of Connecticut, but other than that, it was a group of small local government.
I need you to put a 20.
I did 22.
Okay.
On number 2.
Number 2.
Yeah, I have to, I'm going to 22 as well too.
Yeah, me too.
We all
This
consensus.
can come down.
So consensus is 22. And past performance, Jay.
22.
What do you say?
22.
Jonathan.
I gave it 20.
Carmen.
I give it 25, but I can lower that.
I gave it 25.
Listening to the concerns.
20 and 25.
20, 25.
The reason I gave 20 was just I felt the past projects seem smaller in scale. Really, everything else, it was wonderfully detailed. That was the only capability.
Oh, yeah, I did the Peabody mass is 54,000, so yeah, that's.
Yeah.
I feel like that.
I am hard.
Yeah, no, 265. But that was the same concern with me as well.
So are we consensus of 20 or 22? Yeah.
Because we had some 25, so.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We're between 20 and 25.
Yeah.
So 23 sounds good.
Not even stuff. I'm sorry.
I think 20.
22.
22 it is. Okay.
So first, how many advisors? 8. I have criteria 1, consensus score of 26. Criteria 2, consensus score of 22. And criteria 3, consensus score of 22.
Next one we have is, I'm gonna slaughter this one, Savitas LLC. Okay, did good. Start with me, Jonathan, for the technical approach.
Oh, jeez. 30, and it looked like they were incorporating some alternative sources and ideas, just from what I comprehended.
I guess 25.
Jay.
Give them a 20.
25.
Carmen.
I give them a 30 as well.
Okay. And 20 is very well.
It's diversity.
Yeah, I see that she said that President Trump eliminated AI fair housing. Is that right? And they're like, if we need to do this, we will, but it's been eliminated, so I'm not sure. Everybody else brought that up.
Yes, I just forget, because it could have been something that came out After the RFP had been released or whatever, so I was just like, okay, let's just take it. They'll make a judgment. We'll just let it ride when they make the award.
Well, it's
It was
something,
mentioned,
it was mentioned, if required, or the county prefers that kind of language.
Whatever's in its replacement, if there is, that's just an important.
Because the fee changes based on the fact, right, consider that.
And it goes out.
But we feel like they have value added. Are we clear on that?
I guess I didn't find a whole lot of innovative ideas, but I mean, solid.
Yeah,
it's solid.
So we're still between 20 and 30 this year. So are we good with 25? Yeah. Organization and staff qualification and experience, John.
This is where my, I was back. Yeah, I had 15.
Okay. Alicia,
I have 16 to 22.
Jen,
I was at 22.
22.
2,
I had 25.
we're from 15 to 25.
You want to start?
Because everything, I was looking for it, but I couldn't see where the bulk of their work would take place. Unless someone else did, I'm open.
I assume everyone's in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina.
So,
Yeah.
and then I also didn't see much mention of current workload. And the way I did it, because it's ABC, I put $5 or 5.3. So that's, I try to be very fair and. So by not having those two at not 10.
So for me, it was more about the experience. There's a difference in having the HUD experience and different programs. HUD experience is globally, HUD is the funding agency, but then specifically for this type of activity or project. And I felt like that Mr. I will pronounce it correctly, but I felt like the IDIS technician had more experience with the comp plan, the suite and everything. Whereas I'm not really sure if it was showing as much, I'm sorry, in the board, it's the consultant. They had experience, but I feel like the company had the experience, but the team as a whole was not quite as experienced. Other than probably the consultant and then the technician. I could be wrong, but I also looked at what you said as well too.
The low end 15, 16, and then 22s and 25s.
It's when
You all, we were coming up to a 20 or?
I'm good. I'm good with coming up to 20. Like I said, I had a very methodical approach in how I took it, so I could be swayed to 20.
What's your 20? 20 is the consensus. And past performance, John.
I gave a 22.
Okay. Jen,
I was just on the fence. Well, I don't think 16 is 20.
Jen,
22.
one. I had it as 25, but I can do 22.
Past performance is about the projects that they had. A lot of them I know, the current projects or whatever, well, one was all in Jacksonville. But then they have a couple that they're working on now, the 3 I got.
I knocked 3 off of 25 just because it didn't really go into detail on the length of time to complete. And when I look at my criteria, that was scored 3 points, I have 3 points.
I couldn't find what the time.
So what did you give them? 22?
22. Everything else seemed to be there, but that.
So it's a consensus 22.
Yeah.
22 boards for.
Or the first.
So for Civitas LLC, I have criteria 1, consensus score of 25. Criteria 2, a consensus score of 20. And criteria 3, a consensus score of 22.
The next one we have would be Florida Housing Coalition. Start with solution.
I thought them at 30. I gave it 30.
Carmen,
Yes, I gave them 30 as well.
30. Jay,
25, every, perfect.
That took me 6 well.
Nobody's perfect.
Nobody's 30. Right. I'm 30.
so we're between 23 and 30. Are we? Majority is 30.
Who did the 23? I'm sorry.
25.
I just said the category. Everybody,
I'm sorry, that's understood.
everyone was 30.
Yeah,
Except
yeah.
Coming out of 29?
No, ma'am.
So are we at a consensus for 30 or?
Yeah, and 25 was the highest score that I gave any of these, so that is my highest.
Okay.
Sound like Ron Morton.
Did sit in many of those years ago, so there is that.
Right, that's true. I agree.
So are we going with the majority or are we coming down?
I feel good.
I think we're going.
Yeah, 30.
Yeah, I just want to make sure I'm, okay. 30 is the consensus, no, well, I'm not sure right now.
But it ain't like nobody's perfect.
Okay, organization, staff qualification, experience, Felicia. Should I start somewhere else?
I was at 22.
Jay, okay.
25.
Okay, Carmen,
I was at 20, and that's because I guess I got a little technical when it comes to the resume. It's more of a bio
With summary.
or a summary for each. So, I mean, if you're judging all the others, they follow the resume format. So I thought that should have been the same.
and what was your score again? So
20.
20. And Jonathan?
I gave it 20.
Felicia?
So I had 25, but let me tell you, the only thing I paused was the resume and the bio. And so there was some other places where people did the full resume,
Right.
but then there are 2 opportunities, one in technical approach and one in, no, I'm sorry, in section 2 where we're in, to do resume and key project personnel. And I felt like they did it in both places. And so I feel like we have to come to a consensus as a group, like, are we okay with summaries?
Did
Summaries
we
of
ask for a certain kind of format?
We did not,
No.
and
I didn't.
right,
Or if they provided exactly what was requested.
right, it's a resume. So do you call a summary of our qualifications a resume?
They certainly did.
Unless I missed it, I didn't see form.
Underlined this.
Okay, good, because I was like, unless I missed
I
it.
still get no perfect scores.
That was my criteria with the 5, some which one says I knocked the 5 off to the 20.
Oh, they have a workload statement
It's both.
on 37.
Yeah, on page 37 is their workload statement.
Yeah.
Because you don't, or do you ask for the specific staff's availability? Sometimes you'll read things where it'll say that a staff member is already operating at a certain capacity, 40%, 50%, 60% capacity. Like, none of these have that. So I didn't know if it was, as you say, Rebecca saw a general statement that says
that they-
we have the capacity to do this, or if it's more of the issue of the members of the team, you want to see them, what their capacity would be.
So it said that their statement said that they had it, but I guess what we need to do is see, what do we ask for? Do we ask for a statement or do we ask for?
What they're working with, yeah, what projects are they working on, sort of
Right.
the hours spent, that's kind of the way I interpreted it.
Right.
So I had a question mark there. To me, if I went 25, this would be the reason versus the resume. Cause at least for me, it would be.
Yeah, I got what I needed out of the resume.
And it was in two places. For me, it was like, for instance, they talked about the key personnel, staff, and professional summaries. And then another area,
I don't really need to know where they went to school.
so then is that a resume? Is that a summary? So the staffing plan with the hours, they listed all the staff and their project duties. And then they went, in the next section, they put in the professional summaries, which I don't know, and I put a note, are we gonna consider it, we have to decide, we're gonna consider it's a resume. So. Ladies and gentlemen, what did we say?
I think we're split on both this.
So are we saying we are, because we just said a resume, we weren't specific to a summary as long as it captured the experience they're working.
It's their statement, interpretation of the resume.
Right, especially in this environment, too. Yes.
I've seen it come in from, that was very, 50 page.
I would have paused, for me, I would have paused if they did not have something in both places.
Right.
If they had not identified that same staff earlier on and how many hours they were working and their expertise, and they didn't do it on this other part, I would have had a problem, but. Is that? What do you think?
People said 20, people said 25, and one person said 22. Jay.
Let's go with 23.
Yeah, I wouldn't do 25, but I would anywhere.
I'm going with 20. I'm going with 20.
And then past performance. So I'm thinking each other.
So, yeah, 22, I'm sorry for past performance, but I'm going to look at me at that.
I had 22.
Where's that? 25.
I had 19.
Okay. All right, so we're between 19 and 25.
Well, and the reason I was at 22, which honestly could even be a little bit lower, is it had all the Florida you wanted,
Mhm.
which it should, by the basis of the consulting firm. However, they didn't follow the instructions. That was the only thing. So in a sense, if this had shown nothing but a bunch of small towns in the Midwest, it would have been lower.
I saw surveys attached, but to me, that wasn't part of the ask. As far as time to complete the projects, that wasn't listed in the bulk, and like I said, I saw the surveys, but at that point, that's being filled out by someone else, in my opinion, so I don't know. Because those did reference the past performance projects.
So we are between 19 and 25.
So it's basically the length of time is the
Lead time to complete the project.
Yeah, the length of time, they didn't have that on here. They didn't then also have who your, the people that were responsible for it.
Okay, yeah.
Now that, again, it says, what's the project name, the agency name, address, who's the project manager, phone numbers, email addresses, all of that, and none of that is.
They have it on this sheet, the references. Project number, days, current
On
budget.
On that, that's what I'm saying, so.
Those are surveys filled out by the
Right,
client.
Okay.
So that's why I have.
Okay, I didn't.
this is where I was going with the idea of, following the instructions.
Right.
That's all, you know? And again, they have all of the Florida experience, which I think is useful.
Yeah, because they're large. Yeah. Stanford, Seminole County, City of Miami. Yeah, but to your point, I don't. Instructions.
So the question, I'm not even married to about the Florida part, I think it's more about the
Yeah.
experience of the organization and then have the capacity. Do they have the personnel, the human resource capacity? So the reference question or case study is, we're not looking at that as part of the performance.
So I can come down since I've known that that's not part of it.
That was just my interpretation.
Well, it was, yeah, that was my interpretation of understanding and reading through this.
I just thought they put it in the wrong place.
Yeah.
Because again,
I struggled
The-
with that one.
having a table of contents is a blessing and a curse.
But we don't think the case study related to the past performance, the reference. It's only
About
two
name,
of
phone
them.
number,
Huh?
name and phone number.
Right.
There were three of them.
So they have the name, telephone number, email address, and then the number of days it took to complete the project. And project company.
So I guess what the question is, they have what you've asked for, but not what you're doing.
Why do you think they put these in and none of the other groups put this reference, it kind of threw us? Cause I was just looking at the whole thing that we downloaded.
So
So I
if
can-
you looking at the table of contents, it was supposed to be a part of their past performance, like you said,
Section.
it could be the blessing and curses where it was located.
Well, the surveys also don't really give a project description. This one just says HUD regulatory planning and technical. That's the description.
Technical, it says, what is it? Consolidated plans, action plans,
Okay.
AI, citizen participation plan, ART.
But what is it?
Hmm.
But what does that mean? It's at the end of the day. Because some of the, I mean, when they, at the other portion, they go into description of what the scope of the project was, right?
Let's look at the, yeah, that's what, let's look at the first one, the Seminole County.
I guess in the end, what it is it's a lot of information. It touches on a lot, but it doesn't go into the detail.
What, the survey piece?
In general, what they provided at the end for their experience. Because it's a lot, but it doesn't go into the detail of actually going through each of these. It touches on each of these, just not with one particular project.
Right.
Yeah, it is what it is, yeah.
All together.
Which is why I gave it a 22, because it met it, it just wasn't packaged together as one distinct project.
That's what I had.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm 22.
It's okay with the consensus is 22.
Because no one's permanent.
So for the Florida Housing Coalition 8, have criteria 1, a consensus score of 30, criteria 2, a consensus score of 23, and a criteria 3, a consensus score of 22.
This is the last one, FLB Enterprises. And we will start with the technical approach with Jose Carmen.
This one was interesting because the company just was established last year, end of last year. Now, the principal in the team has a wealth of experience. So I liked it, but I'm a little hesitant as to, it's a new company. are we going to be the, or, so when you have a new company, there's a lot of, I guess, opportunity for errors or to establish like the admin part, you know, because we have to get, when we throw a bid like that out there, the county has standard information that needs to be submitted. And but however, they were impressive on the Benjamin's experience.
So how did you score?
So having said all that, I still give him a 30.
Okay, Carmen. Jonathan,
I give it 20.
Rebecca,
25.
Alicia,
16 to 22.
and Jay.
18.
That's orange.
Yeah.
So, for me, I didn't see the detail, like detail of the hours.
Yep.
Staff that's gonna work on the project. And, was with the work plan. American. I guess I like the timeline, which I felt like they met that over the project period. What was the highest?
30.
The highest was that.
But I can sit down based on the discussion. That was a little bit doubtful, but I was impressed with that. Yeah.
My notes, I just had that there was no breakdown of hours or dates, only very high level. There was no evidence of value added, in my opinion. Interpretive and reading. And then, our community forums and meetings in person, and I had that question because I didn't see. That was very vague to me, and I know that they're located across the country. Is that gonna be a concern? So that's where I base my criteria off.
Yeah.
They only named 2 people that are gonna do the work.
That's in my question too.
That,
Assume they have some other people.
Yeah.
yeah, this kind of, and this goes into each of the criteria. The fact that you mentioned 2 and you don't mention who basically, like nobody mentions who subs are in any of this. But that's the thing
Right.
for me. It's like, who is doing a lot of
Well,
the
that's what
work?
we're in, being a new company, they
Yeah.
still have to establish that team, I think.
That's a difficult thing to roll the dice. I think like you were saying about whether or not you want to be the guinea pig for some of
Right.
that, which is part of the reason why. That aside,
Yeah.
I was in the same boat as you were with the idea of, I did not feel like the proposal had the same amount of detail
Right.
as some of the others did in its technical approach. It did not have a breakdown of hours. And also with the idea that you only have those 2 individuals that are named in here. They need to be extremely talented to be able to pull it off.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it. You know what I mean? Like literally, that's that thing of looking at yourself in the mirror and saying, if you were one of those 2 people, would you be able to actually do that? That's.
So I felt like they talked about the staff. I just think when you measure this against all of the other contracts and the amount of work, proposed and the amount of work we're talking about. Everybody's talking about the number of staff that they're bringing aboard or consultant contracting out. And that this is only 2 people and it doesn't say the hours. Which I think what happens is when you put in the hours for 2 people, this is a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that there would be a capacity issue for a project the size that we're requesting. So that's why I kind of lived within the 16 and 22.
And I thought their team was too small to do true public outreach in this county. As much effort and time that it takes to put into that.
Yeah, I can grade that to 20. That's has to be lower.
What do you say?
I'm still good with my 20, but
I'm good with 20.
It's fine.
Those are my little numbers.
No,
There we go.
Under organization of staff qualification and experience, Carmen,
20.
Jonathan,
I gave 17.
Rebecca, 15, Felicia,
the 16 to 20.
and Jen.
I give 18, and it's only because it's two people. They're qualified, but you don't bring the same amount of people to the dance that some of the other proposals are bringing. And the amount of different types of lenses and skill sets and attributes that some of the other staffing professionals have. It's not a knock on the two people for this, it's just limited in their own capacities.
We're between 16 and 22.
Yeah, I put that they only had 2 staff members identified. And I'm sure there's others, but
What were their names?
yeah.
So how do you want to score?
What was the range?
16 and 22.
18. Splits down the middle.
I like 18. I'm at 17 now, so 18 is not a good stretch.
18 is. So it's the 18 done. And past performance, score to 25 points. Carmen.
This I scored 25 because they have the experience, well, the principal. So,
Jonathan,
I give a 17.
Rebecca,
So I gave them 10, and it's because the budgets for their projects blew me out of the water. It was almost like, wait a minute. 2.9 million, 1.72 million, 629,000 for comparable work. We can't pay that again.
Felicia. We had a budget, it was in our, it was a.
Yeah, I just don't know what I'm playing like for reference to.
Jade.
So I gave an 18. Go into it afterwards.
Yeah, I'll make 20 at 16 to 20, sure again.
So my 18 in this is that I felt like they have experience and they showed some experience, but I don't necessarily know if it is if it's in the realm of what the proposal is asking for, mainly because the products that the RFP is asking for, I did not find in their experience that they were showing. It's some really interesting there's some really interesting work that they've done, but it is not specific to what is being asked in the proposal.
big point, back to the two people show.
Right. And that's sort of the same boat I'm in, and it just didn't seem to coincide with what we were looking for.
Even though the office is in Las Vegas, which means it's not an issue for me, but it being in Las Vegas, they have no work or anything at this time that will come or conflict. Yes.
Well, I also, because of the fact that when you look at section 2, which is comparable projects and relevant experience, those don't go into the detail of the timeline or the budgets. And that's where I struggled again, because I'm looking at it and I see, City of Atlanta, City of Philadelphia. Those are obviously, I mean, they're good size municipalities. So I rank that kind of on par with what we're looking for. But, in fact, they even said population served 1.6 million for City of Atlanta. However, I'm not seeing anything on how long it took to complete, budget, anything like that. So it's kind of the same situation we ran into on the last one. They have one set of facts over here and another set of facts over there, and neither the two shall meet.
Gave a 17.
I did, again.
Jay gave it 18.
Mhm.
Rebecca gave it 10.
So one of the clients, one of the, employees. Work experience, really, really good, strong work experience, and I feel like they had some work done in Alabama and Florida. And him, I'm not really sure if the experience aligns up with. I don't know, on a resume, if it line up with what we received. It was more. Corporate. Versus that, but the staff assignment for the. I would just say, I would have it, be them to be the students.
The deadlines are hard deadlines, right?
Yes, we do. Yes.
So we can't afford to come in late
Mhm.
or, and, you know, just small things like, the person, project manager, phone number, email, none of that was in the section 3.
And which one was them?
Section 3, which is past performance. No, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. Section 4.
Or has.
So they
email.
they have references,
Right.
but isn't that what they put on those survey sheets that?
Exactly,
Guys?
these references don't exactly mean. As for performance, probably next, I don't, some interpreting it.
Yeah, so that's, okay, well then, past performance and requisites, so verify.
Because the past projects didn't check all the boxes.
Right, which we discussed that in another one.
Correct.
Because on page 16, for the city of Atlanta, it says that it was led by Martin. But then for all of the others, it doesn't mention if that person actually led these.
Correct, yes, it is Seattle, city of Pittsburgh, yeah, you're right.
And, you know, that then goes back to the issue of, did you do the work, or were you an administrator who took the work in and then reviewed the work, a finished product?
Or were you just on the project? with
Yeah.
Several other team members.
Right.
Hard to get with this system.
It
Yeah.
is, and I take that into consideration. Everybody's gotta start somewhere.
Also doesn't have a time period, so we don't know when this came in place. So started into.
I'm with you, yeah.
But we look at like what?
So we are still between 16 and 25. I think Carmen gave me 25. You all have
Could I be changed that?
averaged down 16 to 22 now. So
Split the difference.
so
20?
it was the 20.
Well, it sounds like we have a lot of concern. So, even a little lower than 20, I think it's justified.
What do we have, what do we have?
So we had 10, 18, 17, 16 and 22 and 10. So you're saying 18, right?
19.
Yeah.
18 is a consensus, Dawn.
LV Enterprises LLC, criteria 1, a consensus score of 20. Criteria 2, a consensus score of 18, and criteria 3, a consensus score of 18. I will now announce the last two criteria scores. Criteria 4 is the proposed fee cost proposal for a maximum score of 20 points, and procurement has calculated the following. Adelway Inc. is 0.46 points. Baker Tilly Advisory Group LP is 17.43 points. BEW Advisors Inc. is 20 points. Civitas LLC is 18.4 points. Florida Housing Coalition Inc. is 15.9 points. And SLD Enterprises LLC is 17.44 points. I will announce the scores for criteria 5. The MDWDE bonus points for a maximum score of 5 points. None of the proposers submitted paperwork for the bonus points, so I have a score of 0 points for each proposer. So now that we have all the scores, I will now announce the total consensus score for each company. Delaware Inc., a total consensus score of 6.46. For Baker Tilly Advisory Group LP, a total consensus score of 86.43. CEW Advisors Inc., a total consensus score of 90. For Civitas LLC, a total consensus score of 85.4. Florida Housing Coalition Inc., I have a total consensus score of 90.90. For SLV Enterprises LLC, a total consensus score of 73.44. Anyone have any questions or concerns? Okay, so let prepare and send over to me the evaluation summary memorandum for your recommendation. I will consider the meeting completed. We will get the recording of the meeting posted as soon as possible. I will complete this spreadsheet for the final consensus scoring and print before everyone leaves so that I can obtain everyone's signature. So please give me a few minutes to get that ready. I will now close the meeting and I thank you all for attending.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.